You think you know what fear looks like? Look at a map of the ocean. That massive blue expanse is not empty. It is a curtain. And behind that curtain, there are things that make our worst nightmares look like cartoons. We congratulate ourselves on finding the giant squid and the colossal squid. We pat ourselves on the back, put a preserved specimen in a museum, and say, "Job done. Mystery solved." But the ocean laughs at that arrogance. The ocean knows the truth. We haven't found the king yet. We have only found the runts of the litter. The evidence is not floating in a jar of formaldehyde. The evidence is carved into the living flesh of the greatest predator on Earth, the sperm whale. These whales are biological submarines, 50 tons of muscle and teeth, capable of diving thousands of feet to hunt. They are the bosses of the ocean, or at least they are supposed to be. But sometimes an old bull whale surfaces, gasping for air, looking like he went 12 rounds with a meat grinder. The skin of a sperm whale is thick, tough as a truck tire. Yet marine biologists consistently find circular scars on their heads and flanks. These are sucker marks, battle wounds from a squid. We know the math. A standard giant squid leaves a mark about the size of a dinner plate. That is scary enough. But there are records, hushed up or dismissed as distortions, of scars the size of a tractor tire. Scars that are 18, 20 inches across. Do the scaling. If a 40-foot squid leaves a 4-inch mark, what kind of leviathan leaves a 20-inch mark? You are looking at an animal that could wrap its arms around a nuclear submarine and crush the hull dot. The colossal squid is currently the title holder. It is a nasty piece of work, armed with swiveling hooks on its tentacles. But every specimen we have ever found was either dead, dying, or floating on the surface. These are the sick ones, the slow ones, the ones that couldn't handle the pressure anymore. We are judging the entire species based on the ones that failed. Imagine aliens judging humanity by only looking at bodies found in a graveyard. They would think we are motionless, silent, and rotting. They wouldn't know we run, fight, and build cities. The healthy super Kraken does not float. It stays down. It stays where the pressure keeps it strong. The narrative dives deep now. Past the twilight zone. Past the midnight zone. Down to the abyssal plain. The pressure here is crushing. It is cold. It is pitch black. This is the realm of gigantism. In the deep, things grow slow, and they grow big. The phenomenon is called deep-sea gigantism. Crabs grow to the size of tables. Isopods grow to the size of footballs. So why would the squid stop growing at 40 feet? That is an arbitrary limit set by humans who are afraid of the dark dot. In this black void, there is a canyon, a trench that cuts even deeper into the crust. This is the lair. The water here is still, disturbed only by the slow drift of marine snow. But then, a disturbance. A massive current moves through the canyon, kicking up clouds of silt that would cover a city block. This is not a water current. It is the displacement from a moving body. The creature reveals itself not by sight, but by bioluminescence. It is not a single light. It is a galaxy. The super Kraken has photophores embedded in its skin, capable of creating hypnotic light shows to lure prey. But it doesn't need to lure small fish. It hunts big game. The eye of this beast is the size of a large shield. It is the largest eye in the animal kingdom, evolved to see the faint silhouette of a whale against the impossibly dim light from above. The tentacles are thick, muscular trunks. They are not just ropes. They are pythons, lined with suckers the size of manhole covers, and inside each sucker is a ring of serrated chitin teeth. This is not a soft, squishy mollusk. This is a weapon of mass destruction. The mantle, the main body, is a tank. It pulses with a slow, rhythmic power. It breathes the water, extracting the thin oxygen with gills the size of sails. Above, a sperm whale is hunting. It sends out clicks, sonar. The sound waves travel down, hit the canyon floor, and bounce back. The whale gets a picture. It sees a shape, a massive shape. Instinct tells the whale this is food. But instinct is tricky. The whale dives, accelerating into the darkness. It expects a fight, but it expects to win. It is used to eating colossal squids. It expects the calamari to be feisty, but ultimately, dinner. The confrontation happens at 2,000 meters. The whale realizes its mistake too late. The sonar signature didn't show the reach. The tentacles explode from the darkness like strikes of lightning. They don't just grab, they envelope. One tentacle wraps around the whale's jaw, clamping it shut. Another wraps around the tail, stopping the propulsion. The sheer weight of the squid is shocking. It is heavier than the whale. This is the battle that creates the scars. The whale thrashes, rolling in the water, a 50-ton spinning top. It snaps its jaws, trying to bite through the rubbery flesh. It manages to sever a tentacle tip. The squid reacts with ink. But this isn't the little cloud of ink a school kid sees in an aquarium. This is a smokescreen that fills a cubic mile of ocean. The ink is thick, mucus-like, clogging the sensory organs of the whale. The squid is not trying to eat the whale. It is defending its territory. It is the alpha here. It drags the whale down, deeper, testing the mammal's breath-holding limit. The suckers grind into the whale's skin, the teeth cutting deep circles into the blubber. The pain is immense. The whale panics. It fires its sonar at point-blank range, a sonic boom intended to stun the squid. The blast is powerful enough to vibrate the squid's sensitive nerve clusters. The grip loosens. The whale rockets toward the surface. It is bleeding, exhausted, and terrified. The squid does not pursue. It has no interest in the low-pressure zone above. It sinks back into the trench, regenerating the lost tissue. In the deep, life is slow, but life is resilient. The severed tentacle piece falls away, sinking into the mud, to be eaten by hagfish and crabs. The evidence is destroyed by the ecosystem. This is why we don't find them. They are too smart, too deep, and too big to be caught in a trawler net. And when they die, their bodies are ammonia heavy. They don't float. They dissolve. They become part of the soup of the ocean floor. The only proof we get is the survival story etched onto the skin of the whale that got away. Let's talk about the bloop again. The ultra-low frequency sound detected by NOAA. It was traced to a non-tectonic origin. It was organic. The profile matched a marine animal, but the volume was impossible. To make a sound that loud, the animal would have to be enormous, hundreds of feet long. Science dismissed it as an ice quake because the alternative was too frightening. The alternative meant admitting that something down there is screaming louder than a jet engine. Now, imagine a modern deep-sea submersible, a billion-dollar toy made of titanium and glass. It is exploring a new trench in the Pacific. The pilot is watching the radar. The screen is filled with noise. The deep scattering layer, a mass of small creatures that moves up and down, usually confuses the radar. But this time, the layer isn't scattering. It is solidifying. The pilot looks out the viewport. The lights illuminate a wall of flesh. It is red, textured like rough sandpaper. The wall is moving. It takes the pilot a full minute to realize they are not looking at the sea floor. They are looking at the side of a living animal. The sub is tiny next to it, a mosquito buzzing around an elephant. The camera tilts up. It keeps tilting. The body goes on and on. A tentacle drifts past the viewport. It is wider than the submarine itself. The suckers on it are larger than the window the pilot is looking through. The creature is dormant, hovering, conserving energy. The sub's thrusters disturb the water. The creature wakes up. A massive beak, black and sharp as obsidian, opens. It could snap the sub in half like a fortune cookie, but the creature ignores the machine. It is too small to be a meal, too metallic. The beast pulses its siphon and jets away. The displacement of water hits the sub like a hurricane wind. The vessel spins uncontrollably, alarms screaming. By the time the crew stabilizes the craft, the radar is empty. The ocean is empty. Just the black water and the silence. The report goes back to the surface. The data is analyzed. Equipment malfunction is the official conclusion. Glitch in the sonar software. Because to admit the truth requires rewriting biology. To admit the truth means the ocean is not ours. The concept of the super Kraken isn't fantasy. It is a mathematical probability. We know squids grow continuously until they die. If a squid finds a food source that is abundant and an environment that is stable, and it avoids predators long enough, it just keeps getting bigger. There is no biological stop button. In the deep trenches where the water has been stable for millions of years, there could be ancients. Squids that are 100 years old, 200 years old, growing, eating, waiting. The scars on the whales are the map. We just need to learn how to read them. Each scar is a data point, a coordinate. They tell us that the battles are happening right now, beneath the hulls of our cruise ships and cargo freighters. While we sip cocktails and look at the sunset, a war of titans is raging in the dark. The final thought is not about the monster, but about us. We are so small. We stand on the beach and look at the waves, thinking we are the masters of the domain. But we are just tourists, standing on the edge of a jungle we don't understand. The colossal squid is just the gatekeeper.